Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal and today's video is going to be about the famous eyeshadow palette tag. Now, as you guys may know or may not know, there are two YouTubers that started this eyeshadow palette tag, and it's been going around now for about a month or two. And I just figured that since I have a love for eyeshadows and have so many, that this would be a fun video to do, especially since we're, still on lockdown around here. And the two YouTubers that start, it's Allie Glines and Samantha March. And so if you haven't subscribed to my channel and this is your first time here, then please go ahead and subscribe because we're going to be in for a lot of fun. So basically the eyeshadow palette tag is where there's like a series of questions that the YouTubers came up with, and then you are supposed to go through your palette collection and answer the questions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first question is, let's see, what is your newest palette? So for me, my newest palette is the Pat McGrath Mothership 5. And I will go ahead and open it so you can see. And actually, the answer to question 1 and question 3 are both this palette. So this is what the outside looks like. It's black lacquer, and these are the gorgeous colors. Hopefully you can get a good look at them here. And I recently bought this one, I would say last month, because we're now in August, so I got this palette in July from Sephora. Now, number 3 question is also what's your most expensive palette, and this falls under that category as well, because this palette was $125. But see how gorgeous these colors are? And so there are several different Mothership palettes, but they're very pigmented, if I could talk today. And the colors are just really, really gorgeous. There's shimmers, there's solids, and if you've been a collector for a while, you can't go without getting a Pat McGrath palette. And so it comes in beautiful packaging, and it's like 10 colors. And so I've been waiting for some time, and I actually rewarded myself because when you're sitting in the house on lockdown and you have, nothing really to do other than to work all the time, you got to reward yourself every now and again. So this answers question number 1 and question number 3. Okay, next is question number 2. What is your oldest palette? So I went through my collection and I have a few of them, but I think the oldest one that I still have right now is the LORAC Pro. And I got this palette maybe 5 years ago, and as you can see, I've hit pan on 2 to 3 colors pretty much. So I got a lot of use out of this palette. It's matte colors, and they're really smooth. I mean, LORAC colors go on real smoothly like that. And I rarely use this one anymore now, but at one point in time, it was my go-to palette. And like I said, yes, my oldest one, because this one is like about 5 years old and it's still working. Okay, question number 3 I already answered because it was the Pat McGrath palette. Question number 4 was, what is your most affordable palette? And the most affordable palette for me in my collection is the Juvia's Place, the Nubian, which is this one here. And these are the colors in this palette. And this palette was only $20, so that's why I say this was my most affordable one, because most of mine cost more than that. But this one right here, and I still get use out of it. It's like nudes, and it's cardboard. It's easy to travel with. The colors are really nice. So that's that question. And let's see. Now moving on to number 5. What's your everyday palette? And so to me, an everyday palette is one that you use on a regular basis. It's one that I used to use on a regular basis, especially for going to work looks. And that would be the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. And that's what it looks like. And as you can see, it's several neutral colors and a little bit of color. I mean, as far as they're neutral colors, and then there's the pops of color in here too. And I would use this one because you can go to work with this one with these colors, and you can also use them for nighttime. So if after work you were going to go out somewhere, there's some dark shades in here that you can use for nighttime to darken it up. But so for me, an everyday palette is one that I can use in transition from work to evening. So this was my palette for that. Next question was, what's your most colorful palette? And let's see, the one that I selected for the most colorful palette is another Juvia's Place one. It's the Masquerade one, and this is the outside color. But then when you open it up, as you can see, it has all these purples and blues and pinks and whatnot. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, there's a few other ones that I have, but these are bold, loud colors. They're really nice, and you know, Juvia's Place has affordable palettes, but like I said, this was my most colorful one. Let's see, the next question was, what is your smallest palette? So smallest palette to me means the smallest in size. And that would be my Fenty Snap Shadows. As you can see, they're very small. They have a total of 6 colors in them, which are very little. These are easy to travel around with, and they're compact. And they're called Snap Shadows because you can snap another one together, which I've talked about this on my channel before. So on the other side is another one. This is number 7, and these are the 6 colors for that. And as I said, number 3, these are the 6 colors for this one. And you know, you can throw these in your compact, your purse. You know, you can travel with one. They're very easy to travel with, and size wise, they're very little and cute. So yeah, I really like these. I've had these for a few months now, but yes, that would be my smallest palette. Let's see, the next question is number 8, and just to let you know, there's 13 questions, so it won't be too long. Number 8 is, what is your biggest palette? So I just showed the smallest one. The biggest palette would be, which one is the largest? So mostly everybody, their largest palettes are Morphe ones. So mine is the Morphe Jacklyn Hill palette. As you can see, it's really large. It's like, what is it? How many? 35 shades. Yeah, and it's pretty colorful as well, but it didn't make the category for my most colorful one, but it did make the category for my biggest one. As you can see, it's really big. I never take this one anywhere. It's for at home, and if I'm going to do makeovers and I have people come over, or I'm traveling to go do a makeover somewhere, I'll take this one because it has everything in it. But yes, this is my biggest palette. The next question is the palette with the best memories. So for me, that is like 2 palettes for best memories, and other people have brought up where they actually went somewhere and it was sentimental for them. But for me, my favorite memories is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette and the Too Faced Semi-Chocolate palette. Both of them are like this, and I'll show you the difference in the colors. But here's the chocolate bar one. You see I still have the packet in here, but these are the colors for the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. And what made me really have a memory is that it takes you back. It smells so good. It still smells like chocolate. It's the first palette that actually had a scent that would take you somewhere. And you know, if you like chocolate, you just think about, ooh, it's so great. You want to like eat the palette. And it kind of reminds me of, you know, when you go to the store and get chocolate. And so this one also I have is the Semi-Chocolate, because the colors in this palette I kind of liked more, because they were just, because I like warm colors, and so to me these colors were more warm, and the colors for the other one were more cool tone to me. It's kind of like cools and warms, but they both smell so good. It's like just when you open it up, you think, oh yeah, you get ready to have a chocolate. And so the way these actually palettes are made, it looks like an actual chocolate bar, especially this one, because it looks just like chocolate. And I think the packaging on this was very great, so it brings back memories. Okay, so on to the next question was, which palette was worth the hype? So, you know, as palettes are coming out, they're all hyped up, and then you buy it and you hope it's still worth the hype. So I would say for me, it would be the Anastasia Beverly Hills Jackie Aina palette. And I got this palette last year, and I couldn't wait to get it. The packaging is really gorgeous. Her logo is really nice. And the colors definitely are really gorgeous. And I did 2 videos on this palette. Look at these colors. And so it was all that hype. The texture, the payoff, it's wonderful. You can do several different types of looks. It has purples, it has pinks, it has browns, it has shimmers, it has highlights. I mean, you can do so much with this palette. And I've been following Jackie Aina for years. And so when this one came out, I was so excited to get it. And to be honest, I have not regretted it. I use all the colors in here. It's one of my favorite palettes. Next was which palette was not worth the hype. Now that's funny, because that would be a palette that you get and then you're like, ooh, I'm not impressed. So for me, it was the Tarte Tartiest Pro. And see, the packaging looks really nice. You see it and you think, oh, that's some nice packaging. You know, then here's the colors. You know, the color scheme isn't bad either. You look at it and think, oh, those are some nice colors. But the problem is that they're kind of like dry and boring, and they don't have a lot of payoff. And so it's like, it was hyped up, but it didn't live up to the hype. So that's the one I have selected for that question. Next is, let's see, what's your favorite palette from your favorite brand? Now, I have a couple of favorite brands, and since some of the, you know, Fenty's one of my favorite brands, and I already had a Fenty palette, but that was the smallest one, I guess. But for my favorite palette from another brand is, I would say, Urban Decay, and it's the Born to Run palette. And this is how it looks. I really love this palette. Look at all these colors. It has every type of color you would need. And you can take this palette anywhere and it will make the look for any type of look that you need to have. And matter of fact, I used this palette today for my eyeshadow. And so this is, you know, my favorite palette from my favorite brand. Okay, or one of my favorite brands. Let's see, now there's only one more question left. And it says, what's your most used palette? Now, it's not my most used palette this year because, you know, we're on lockdown and I'm not putting on makeup every day. But it was my most used palette last year and the beginning part of this year. And it happens to be the Colorpop Perception collaboration with Shayla. And see the outside of it. And then wait till you see these colors. These are the colors. As you can see, mine is kind of messy looking because I've used it a lot. But this one here has shimmers and mattes, and it has every kind of color selection that you would need. It's out of cardboard, so it makes it easy to travel with. And I did a lot of traveling last year, and I would pack this up and take it with me in my carry-on. And I didn't have to worry about anything happening. And wherever I went, I could match up any outfit because this had all the colors that you would need in it. So, yeah, so here we go. I think I got through the palette tag pretty quickly here. And once again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified of any new videos that I put up. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And once again, I love you guys and stay safe out there. And love your look. Oh, by the way, if you're also doing the eyeshadow palette tag, then let me know and let me know down in the description box what your palettes are that go in the different categories of the different questions. Look forward to seeing you guys later. All right, take care.